everyone, and welcome back to the Cabral Concept. I'm Stephen Cabral, board-certified naturopathic doctor, and today I'm looking forward to getting into today's Training Thursday show. And the reason is we're going to step back away from the exercise and the program design that we usually talk about. Like last week, we talked about should you split up your body parts when working out. Great, I think, fundamental topic where I talked about who should and who should not split up their body parts and how one form of exercise definitely increases your metabolism over another. So that was episode 166. Do check that out if you haven't done that. Today, I want to talk about pre-workout and post-workout macronutrients. And what that means is these are called like the pre-workout meals and the post-workout meals. And macronutrients, all it does is it stands for this: carbohydrates, protein, and fat. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to make this really easy, really simple, really straightforward. And that's because you can get into these really minute details about how this is really important for like 0.01% of the population. And I agree. For those Olympic athletes, for those people with specific nutritional needs, I will get as in-depth as they need. And I work with professional athletes all the time. I work with Olympic athletes. I've worked with almost every sport. I've even worked with world champion sports players as well from overseas. So we can do that, meaning like we can do that, but unnecessary. Like it really is unnecessary for most of the people, because then you get into like peri-workout nutrition, like what should you be drinking during your workout? And for the most part, remember, use the 80-20 rule. You're going to get at least 80% of the benefit from just keeping it simple. Now, if you need to turn it on to that next little bit, fine. But let's talk about what really works, what you really need to know. And that's this: a pre-workout drink or a pre-workout meal, meaning like within an hour before your workout, is only necessary if you are going for personal best, meaning like your heaviest lifts, or weight loss is not a goal of yours, or you need to improve performance and muscle gain. Okay? So if you want to gain muscle, you want to gain some weight, pre-workout meal. If you want to improve performance, pre-workout meal. And if you are looking to do your absolute biggest lifts, you want that pre-workout meal. Now, so why would those three types of people want a pre-workout meal? It's simply because they need carbohydrates to fuel them from their workout. You do not want them lowered blood sugar, and you want reserves, meaning like you want reserves coming into the body as the body starts using up its own blood sugar. You want more carbs coming in that are going to be digested then to blood sugar as well. And then the protein from that pre-workout meal will also help spare muscle tissue, because the protein gives you amino acids which help rebuild and are also necessary for your workout to do your workouts. Okay, so I think that's important. Now, for those people, depending on how much weight you want to gain, like if your goal is simply to gain weight and it's to put on more muscle, you want to use what's called a 4-to-1 ratio of carbohydrates to protein. Our fats are going to be very low for both our pre-workout and post-workout, so you're not going to hear me talk about fat, because ideally fat is not going to be included really with the pre or post-workout. That will be other times of the day. Now, for the pre-workout, if you're taking in 100 grams of carbohydrates, then you're taking in 25 grams of protein. That's the 4-to-1, right? 4 times the amount of carbohydrates as protein. So we could even do it further. You could say it's 40 grams of carbs and 10 grams of protein. What you have to do is you have to look at how much weight you're actually looking to gain, or is it just performance-based? Because you might just need a little small meal, right? And that could just be a smaller amount. Or it could be a 2-to-1. So a little bit less carbohydrates. Let's just say you're doing 50 grams of carbs and you're doing 25 grams of protein. That would be more, I would say, bodybuilder-like, where you're not trying to add a lot of body fat, but you get enough protein in there for more gains, more amino acids. So that would be at a 2-to-1 ratio. So you can see all I'm doing is changing the ratio. This is going to make a lot more sense right now when I get into weight loss nutrition as well, because a lot of people want to transform their body, meaning like they want to maybe tone up their body and then burn a lot of body fat. So let's talk about that now. So for those people, if your goal is weight loss And if your goal is to burn body fats, the maximum amount possible, we're not going to have any food before the meal for at least 90 minutes. Now, there are exceptions. Don't get me wrong. Like if you get lightheaded during your workouts, if you feel really weak and lethargic, then yes, you're going to have some, but it might be a smaller snack then you might even include a little bit of fat, of some protein, maybe with a little bit of carbohydrates. It might be a 1-to-1 ratio of carbs to protein, maybe 25 carbs, 20 protein, or 20 and 20. But for the most part, everyone that I work with, unless they have one of those pre-existing conditions, is not going to eat for at least 90 minutes before their workout, because I want their blood, and ideally 2 hours to 3 hours, because I want their blood sugar level stable, and I want them already at a place where they're ready to tap into body fat and not use the excess sugar that's already in their blood. So hopefully that makes sense. When you're working out, I want you to be not low blood sugar, but lowered, meaning like normal blood sugar, because I need you to use more fat than sugar. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. So now the next part is this. You finished your workout. You had a great workout. Now, a lot of people talk about the window of when to eat. Well, if you're looking to lose weight, you're looking to burn body fat, you're going to actually wait about 30 minutes to maybe 60 minutes after your workout. And the reason is this. Once we start putting those carbohydrates in, you're going to start switching over. You're going to start using a lot of that sugar and that fuel as energy as well. And that's okay. That should be fine to do, and you should do that because you need to also spare that muscle tissue, which is important. Okay, so here's what you're going to do. After your workout, you're going to have, again, anywhere from a ratio of 4-to-1 of carbohydrates to protein. Now, what I do for many of my weight loss-based clients is it's simply going to be a 2-to-1 or a 1-to-1. I usually use the 2-to-1 because I use those carbohydrates as a way to reduce cortisol after the workout. I use berries especially, so I use blueberries or sometimes berries or just a banana if you need to bring it to the gym as a way to also, because your body needs to replenish and it needs fuel, and it would be very happy if you gave it glucose after your workout. So if you do that, you're just going to get that from your fruit, and that's going to help restore those liver glycogen levels, your blood sugar levels, and then it will use the protein afterwards to start to rebuild the process, rebuild the muscles. So I'll typically do 1 cup to 2 cups of fruit after a workout, and then I will do 1 cup or so of protein for people. And I usually do a smoothie because after your workout, your digestive system is weakened. And it doesn't mean that it's weak. It just simply means that the blood's in your muscles and that it's not ready to digest this huge meal for at least an hour or 2 after that big workout. So what will we do? Well, we'll simply do 1 to 2 cups of fruit, 1 if you're looking to lose more weight, just a couple berries, and then you'll do 15 to 20 grams or so of a vegan-based protein powder or paleo-based protein powder or a whey-based one. So that's your decision. We typically use more rice and pea-based proteins. The reason is they're hypoallergenic, and a lot of people that I test in my practice are just sensitive to dairy, and the majority of people are. They just don't know it from an IgG perspective. So what we do is we don't want to cause any of that excess bloating, any of that excess puffiness or swelling. So we just simply use that. It's very, very easy. So hopefully that makes sense, and it is really simple, right? So all you want to do is if you're looking to keep your muscle size, you're looking for performance, you're going to eat before your workout, somewhere between a half hour and 90 minutes before. You kind of have to gauge that for how your body feels, how long it needs to digest that easy to digest meal or shake. And then you're not going to eat if you're looking to burn body fat. And then after the workout, you're going to wait about 30 to 60 minutes. If you're, again, someone who's a power lifter, a bodybuilder, something like that, you're going to eat more carbs, somewhere around 4-to-1 ratio of 100 carbs or 50 carbs, and you're just going to take what's 25% or so of that and take that as your protein. And then for most of the people who want body transformation, you're simply going to do 1 cup to maybe 2 cups of fruit, and then you're going to do about 15 grams or so to 20 grams of protein. Really simple, and that's just your pre- and post-workout meals. And then the rest of the day, you can go back to eating normal, however you typically would. So I really wanted to give a big show on this and just once and for all, simplify this for people. It doesn't have to be complicated. You can use whole foods or smoothies and powders, which are easier to digest, and do what works for you. And again, it can always be tweaked and changed, right? So if you're like, after my workout, I tried 1 cup of blueberries today and my vegan-based all-in-one protein powder, and I blended that up and it tasted great, but it just wasn't quite enough. Well, after that, you could have a meal an hour later, or you could just say, hey, I'm going to add a banana to my cup of blueberries and my protein powder, and I'll do like half water and I'll do half, coconut milk or almond milk. And yes, that was a great smoothie. I felt totally rejuvenated hydrated and regenerated after my workout, and that works for me. So just a little trial and error, right? Just a little bit. But you can start at the 1-to-1 and then go to 1-to-2 and then, 1-to-3. And again, I'm talking about the higher number is always the carbohydrates. So hopefully I didn't confuse you. Hopefully that is the information that you needed to now tweak your pre and post-workout meals. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and do please feel free to share this podcast with anyone it could help. Thank you again for tuning into the Cabral Concept. As a loyal listener, I wanted to reward you with a special savings code for the month of July. Typically, shipping is close to $10 for the 7-day Dr. Cabral Detox. But when you enter the promo code July Detox, you'll be upgraded to free priority shipping. As you know, the Dr. Cabral Detox is the number one thing I use in my Boston practice and online to help people get well, lose weight, and feel great. Try it for yourself risk-free and start getting the results you deserve. To get started, simply go to drcabraldetox.com and enter the savings code JULYDETOX at checkout. I look forward to seeing your success story soon.